So the advantages of segmentation is there is no external fragmentation, there is no internal fragmentation, but the problem is there is external fragmentation, and moreover it is doing segments is on the burden is on the shoulders of the programmer. The programmer has to do this explicitly, so it is not transparent, it is visible to the user. So now let us see what is the difference between paging and segmentation. And yeah, before we see the difference between paging and segmentation, there is one more concept called there are few good points about paging, and there are few good points of segmentation. You can combine these two techniques into single called paged segmentation, wherein what happens, you will have a segment. Okay, now this process has been divided into segments. Segment 0, this is segment 1, and this is segment 2, for example. Now each and every segment is paged again. Okay, each and every segment paged. Now what do I have is I will have a mapping table. Now earlier we were having mapping table for each process, but now we will have a mapping table for each segment. Now this will be called as mapping table for segment 0. Now it will contain page number and the frame number which is there in the memory. Okay, and here also it will have you will have one more mapping table. This mapping table is for segment 0. Okay, it will again have frame number and page number and the frame number Okay, and similarly for segment 2 you will have another page table. Okay, it will have page number and frame number, and this is mapping table for segment 2. Okay, so the logical address which is generated by the C is actually divided into segment number, page number and offset. Okay, and it has been resolved into physical address by the memory management unit. So here this is called paged segmentation. Paged segmentation is also one of the good concepts which takes the advantages of both paging and segmentation. We'll see problems and then we'll understand how does this work. Okay, now we saw that in simple paging, in order to access one page I have to do 2 memory references. Okay, now it's actually hurt in performance. We can improve this performance by introducing a cache in between. How can I introduce cache here? It's simple. What we is, in order to improve the performance of the system, we'll have a cache that has TLB, translation look aside buffer. Even your CPU generates the logical address. Okay, this logical address is divided into page number and offset. Okay, now whenever this page number is there, first the page number will be looked into this cache. Okay, this page number will be actually looked into this cache. Now this cache is the place where CPU can reach quickly than memory. Okay, now if, for example, just as an example I am giving that if the amount of time taken by the CPU to reach memory is 100 milliseconds, then the amount of time will be taken each cache will be 10 milliseconds. So it will be far less than this. There is an example I have given. It's not necessary a hard and fast rule that it will be only this factor. So now what happens is, if a page where a CPU want to access, okay, it will look in its translation look aside buffer. If it founds, then it is called TLB hit. Okay, if it is miss, then what happens? It is called TLB miss. It's called TLB miss. If there is miss in TLB, if the page is not found in TLB, it goes into the page table. Now this page table is in memory again. Okay. Now from this memory again, you'll have a page number and you'll have a frame number. A corresponding frame number will be taken. Okay, and it will be actually converted. It will have a frame number and the offset will be copied, of course. Okay, and you'll get the physical address. But suppose if there is TLB hit, then corresponding frame number will be taken and directly offset will be copied. So it takes lesser time when compared to this. Okay. Now if a system is having TLB, the amount of time, now what is the performance of the paging? In case of TLB hit, it is very good because lesser amount of time it takes, and generally it does only one memory reference for getting page plus one cache reference, one TLB access. Okay, so the performance in TLB hit, if TLB hit, then performance will be one TLB access plus one memory access. If TLB miss is only possible if you have already did one TLB access but you found it wrong, you found it TLB miss, then you go to one memory reference for page table. To that frame number, again you have to do one more memory references for accessing the page. Okay, so here the total amount of time is taken in TLB, in case of TLB miss, is, this is the extra time when compared to simple page. But if it is TLB hit, you will have reduced time. Okay. Now depending upon this, we'll solve these problems. To remind you that all these lectures have been given assuming that already paging and segmentation. You have already aware with the concepts of paging and segmentation. This is a brief overview, and we'll see a few problems of paging and segmentation. Now let's do this problem. Let's solve how to do this. Consider a logical address space of 8 pages. Consider a logical address space of 8 pages of 1024 bytes each, mapped on a physical memory, memory of 32 frames Question is, how many bits are there in the logical address space? In logical address space. Okay, how do you solve this? Okay, if the logical address space, consider a logical address space of 8 pages of 1024 bytes each, mapped on a physical memory of 32 frames, then how many bits are there in logical address space? Now we know that CPU generates the logical address space. I need to find out how many bits are used in the address space. Okay. What is given here? The given data is 8 pages. Okay, it has been given that we have 8 pages, and size of each page is, one page size is how much? 1024 bytes. Okay, so what is the size of 8 pages? 8 page size is how much? So 8 pages into 1024, which is equivalent to, we'll call it as 2 cube 8 kilobytes. Okay, 1 KB. So 8 kilobyte is a total amount of total number of pages here. Okay, that means the process, it has been divided into pages seen, and the size of each page is 1024 bytes equivalent to 1 KB. Okay, if it is equivalent to 1 KB, total logical address space nothing but the total number of bits pages that can be accounted this. Okay, so total number of bits which are needed is 8 I can write as 2 cube into 1 KB is actually 2 to the power of 10, so which is equivalent to 2 to the power of 13. So 8 kilobytes logical address space can address with the help of 13 bits, because 2 to 13 gives me 8 bytes. So the length of logical address space is 13 bits. Length of logical address is actually 8 kilobytes, and 13 bits to address this entire logical address space. Okay. Now, what is the second problem? The second problem is how many bits are there in physical address? We'll solve next problem. Okay, I think this is understood. Now, how many bits are there in physical address? How many bits are there in physical address space. Okay, we'll find out this also. Okay, now physical address space is nothing but your memory. Okay, and we know that memory has how many frames? It has 32 frames. But what is the size of each frame? Here the size of frame is not given, but the size of page is given. But we know size of page is equal to size of frame in paging. Size of page is equal to size of frame. So therefore, we take size of one frame to be size of page, which is equal to 1024 bytes. Okay. Now we have 32 frames. The logical address space is having only 8 pages. Physical address space is having here 32 frames. In this case, physical address space is more when compared to logical address space. This is only an example, right? Actually, the logical address space will be bigger than physical address space for those systems which supports virtual memory. So 32 frames into 1024 bytes. So I can write 32 2 per 10 equal to 2 to the power of 15. So in how many bits are there in physical address space? 15 bits are there in physical address space. Okay. So this kind of problems are very common and can be solved in this way. Okay. Now here we have taken page without considering into virtual memory, but now we will talk about in virtual memory wherein the size of address space will be bigger than the size of physical address space. Now, what is this virtual memory? Virtual memory is actually a memory which is not really existing. The basic idea behind the process, okay, you decide is it a process or what is needed at of time, only that is loaded and will be executed. Now for executed and run to its completion, it's necessary that the entire system is also possible that the process only part of the process it can run to its completion. So only those pages actually needed can be in memory and can be executed. As well as demand paging. In demand, only those are the memory which are actually requested. Those pages which are not being requested are not loaded in memory. Okay. So with the help of this, whose size is bigger than the available possible because the size of the source is greater than the size of the memory, but it is not for the present in the memory. It can come in a different part of the memory. The process can be loaded and its completion. So this is the basic idea behind virtual memory. Now we'll see how it is possible. Now I'll give a few examples. One of the examples called overlays, okay, which supports memory, but doesn't work for all programs because there are few restrictions on that. Now suppose there are few processes that has been applied that in memory only 90 kilobytes of 90 MB is free. Okay, but now I have actually a process PA whose size is, for example, 160 kilobytes. Okay, I have 160 kilobytes. Now out of this 160 kilobytes, now it is assume that, okay, now assume that actually I want to now here we have to see that is it possible to break this size into two parts so that it can be executed at it can be executed separately. For that I have to find out the dependencies. I have to resolve these dependencies that the modules not be dependent on each other. They should be independent. And they are linked. Is it possible to say that this part can be executed before this part 2 or not? If it is, okay, then it will be exit will be loaded. Now if the presence of this part 1, okay, or I'll call it as 1, 2 like this, okay. Now so I divide it into 80, okay. This is 7 for example. This is equivalent to 1. How much? 160, okay, 160 kilobytes. Now if I could able to successfully divide this process into two parts such that, okay, this process P2 is actually needs output after the execution of this part, okay, then it is necessary to load both, because what this part will do, because it is actually waiting for output that can come from this part of the process. So this 70 kilos will be loaded and it will execute. After it runs to 90 MB will be loaded and run to its completion. Now the problem here is this is called overlaying technique. In this overlaying technique, first the first advantage is we should know this process so that they can execute it independently. Second thing is there should be the second thing is both of the processes can be accomplished simultaneously. Okay, there should be something exclusive. If one part of the process is executing and the other is executing, that is not. Okay, that has to be there here in overlays. Okay, but still it is not possible for part of the process. It is possible here part of the process to be in the storage, but not always, because always we can find the dependencies here. Okay? It's very difficult to do that. Okay? In order to accommodate, okay, we suppose virtual memory. This is another technique of virtual memory, wherein only those pages of the process which are needed at this point in time will be loaded into the memory and run to its completion. So, example, yeah. Consider a paging system with 16 MB of physical memory. Consider a paging system with 16 MB of physical memory, 256 pages of logical address space, and a page size of 1 kilobyte. Then find out how many bits are there in logical address space. How many bits are there in logical address space? And yeah, first we'll solve this. Okay. Now here in the paging system, we have 16 MB of physical memory. So main memory is of size is 16 MB. Okay. 16 I can write as 2 power 4 into 2 power 20 as 1 MB. So 2 power 24 and 6 pages of logical address space. So I have 256, but what is the size of each page is given? This is 1 kilobyte. So what are the 256 pages? So I can write it as 6 into 1 KB. So 256 I can write it as means 1024, 97, I think it's 8. 2 per 18 here. Okay. So how many bits are there in logical address space are 18, and how many bits are there in physical address space? Yeah, here it is already given. 16 MB of physical memory is there. Okay. So 16 MB means yeah, we'll get it like this. So the total number of bits are there in logical address space are 18. And what is the second question? A page frame needed how many memory space? Okay. This is a good question. Now a page frame needs how many how many memory space? Now let's calculate this. What's page frame needed how many memory space? How much memory space? Now, this can be done very easily. Size of frame is the size of page. Frame size is also 1 kilobyte. Page size is also 1 kilobyte. So frame and page size 1. So a page frame needs 1 kilobyte of memory space. That's all. Very simple. Then we'll take another problem. Consider a virtual memory of 256 bytes. Consider a virtual memory of 256 terabytes. Page size given is 4 kilobytes. This logical address space is mapped into physical memory. This logical address is mapped into physical memory of 256 MB. So how many bits are there in virtual memory? How many bits are there in virtual memory? Okay. How do you find out? Okay, now page size is now virtual memory, the size of virtual memory is 256 terabyte. So 256 I can write as 2 power 8 into KB means 10, MB, GB, TB, okay, 40. So this is what virtual memory, but how many pages are there in this virtual memory? This is actually number of bytes of virtual memory, but the size of this entire space has been divided into pages. Okay. Now the size of each page is 1 kilobyte. Okay. So I have to divide the size of page, which is 4 kilobytes. 4 into 2 to the power of 10. Okay. So 2 to the power of 48 by how much? 2 per 12. Okay. 12 means 6. 10 means 36. Okay, 2 per 36. So total there are 2 per 36 pages are there. Okay, so how many bits are there? We need only 36 bits. Large address space or virtual address space. So 36 bits. I hope this is the answer, right? So total number of pages are 2 per 36 pages, and total number of bits needed are 36 bits. What is the second question? We'll see. How many number of pages are there in, how many number of pages are there in this system? So number of pages are 2 per 36 only. Actually here what happened? Logical address space and memory both are same. How much? 36 bits. Okay. Now 36 can be divided into page numbers offset. Okay. So this page number order is 11 how much? So 12 we got as 6 divided into page number and offset. So this is the 36 bits which are actually now the size is, if the size is terabytes, okay, then number of bits we need is actually not 2 per 36, it is 2 per 48 actually. I am sorry, I did mistake. How many number of bits are there? Total number of bits in 256 terabytes is 26 terabytes is 2 per 8 into 2 per 40 is equal to 2 per 48. So how many bits are needed? 48 bits are needed for addressing this memory. Out of these 48 bits, what happens? The logical address space is physical memory of 256 kilo. 256. We have to find out how many number of pages are there. But in order to find out how many number of pages are there in virtual memory, then we have to find out what is the size of each page. Size of each page is 4 kilobytes. So number of pages can be calculated. Virtual address space, logical address space, page size actually. So logical address space is 2 per 48 by page size 4 into 2 to the power of 2 per 36. 36 pages are reserved for it. So remaining offset. Okay. So this is how the number of pages are. So number of pages are 2 and number of offset within a page you can have offset for which 12 bits have been. Logical address space is 48 bits. Right. Now. We'll take good question. Segmentation. We'll do a few problems on segmentation now. So if there are 32 segments, each of size 1 kilobytes. Okay. Next question is, if there are 32 segments, each of size 1 kilobyte, then logical address space should have how many bits? If there are 32 segments, each of size is 1 kilobytes, then logical address space should have how many bits? To specify particular segment, how many bits we need? Solution. To specify a particular segment, we need, there are actually 32 segments, okay. So I can write it as 2 power 5. So I need 5 bits for specifying a particular segment. And each segment has size of 1 kilobytes, okay, means the offset within this segment. So it is equivalent to 2 power 10. So total bits that is there in logical address space is this 5 plus 10 is equivalent to 15 bits. Okay. Now we'll do next problem. Next we'll do on, okay, consider a 23-bit logical address space as follows. Consider a logical address space of 23 bits as follows. Okay. Now, so now consider a logical address space of 23 bits as follows. We have segment number, and we have page, we have words. Okay, amount of bits given for this bits is 9, and for number of pages is 9 and 5. Okay, this is how the logical address space of 23 bits has been divided. So 9, 1, 18, 23. Okay. If you sum it, it's 23. Now the question is find the size of largest segment. Find the size of largest segment. Now what is the size of the largest segment? Now the size of largest segment could be, actually there is a logical address space has been divided into page and words. Okay, so words are nothing but the byte addressability, a word. Okay. One reference, you can see bits. So if total logical address space is 23 bits, okay, then we have to subtract from this 23. You just remove this 5 for the segments. Okay, so that we'll get how much? 18. So we can have a size of segment maximum of 2 per 18 then. Okay, so this is the size of the largest segment, is 2 per 18. What is this 2 per 18? These are 2 per 18 words actually. Okay. This is the size of largest segment. Now, which is fast, paging or segmentation? Okay, which is fast, paging or segmentation? Anything else? Okay, which is fast? See, the amount of time taken by the CPU to reach register is very less when compared to the amount of time it takes to reach cache, and the amount of time it takes to reach cache is lesser than the amount of time it takes to reach memory. Similarly, the amount of time it takes to reach memory for CPU will be far lesser than the amount of time it takes for the CPU to reach disk. Okay, so the variation in timings, how they can reach it. Okay, now as far as paging is concerned, okay, paging is associated with physical memory. Okay, and is associated with virtual memory. So virtual memory means in the disk. So of course the amount of time it takes in segmentation will be more than the amount of time it takes by paging. So we conclude paging is faster. Paging is faster than segmentation. Okay, we'll see next question now. Yeah. Now we'll see one problem with paging with TLBs now. Okay. Let's solve this. Consider a paging system with a page table stored in memory. Consider a paging system with a page table stored in memory. Okay. First question. If a memory reference takes 200 nanoseconds, how long does a page reference takes? Assume all pages are in memory. Okay, we assume that all pages are there in memory, but in virtual memory it is possible that few are not there. Okay, so that is called page fault, which we'll discuss after this. Okay. Assume that all pages are in memory. Okay, so now this is a very good example actually of demonstrating paging with segmentation. So here the question is, if a memory reference takes 20 nanoseconds, how long does a page reference takes? Assume that all pages are in memory. Here it is not given how much amount of time it takes to access TLB. So one thing. Now assume that this is a simple paging. Okay, this is not without TLB because the data is not given. Of course, if it is asked, we can find out how much amount of time it is taken by simple paging, and of course, if it is TLB hit, it is lesser than this. Okay, so the data is not given, so we get for simple paging here. So now we know that you have logical addresses and you will have a mapping table. It is divided into page number and offset. Okay, page looked here, and we will get a corresponding frame number, and offset will be clear, so that you will get a physical address. Okay. This page table will be in memory, and also this frame, what you have got, it is also in memory. Okay, this is also a memory reference. Both are stored in memory reference. Now, if a memory reference take 200 nanoseconds, it means the amount of time it takes by CPU to reach memory is 200 nanoseconds. Now you tell me, we saw the performance of paging. Whenever you want to access a single frame in memory, it actually needs two references. Okay, one memory reference in page table and one memory reference in for actually accessing a page or frame. Okay, so for one access for page table takes 200 nanoseconds and another access of memory takes 200 nanoseconds. The total of time will be as 400 seconds. Okay, so we conclude that the total time is 400 nanoseconds. Okay, we'll skip. Now we'll add to this on the same question. We'll add if we add associative register, next B. If we add associative register, this TLB, and 75% of all page table references found the associative register. Don't get it with associative, it means the TLB. Okay. What is the effective memory reference time? The effective memory reference time on average. Now, finding the page table entry in TLB register takes 10 nanoseconds. It is present. Okay. Now we have to find out effective access. The time it takes to access is 10 nanoseconds, and it has to go to 200 nanoseconds. Is from the previous bit, which is bit A. Let us solve what time for this. As I have told you already, if it is hit, if it is TLB hit, then only 10 plus memory access. Okay. If TLB hit happens, then total number of memory references will be 1 TLB reference plus 1 memory reference. Okay. But if TLB misses, then when misses, if it has already TLB and didn't found, so it goes to memory page table and one more reference for actual frame. Okay. So the probability, if P is the probability of TLB hit, then 1 minus P will be the probability of TLB miss. Okay. It is already given. What is given? 75% of all the page table references are found in the associative registers. Okay. So hit is already given 0.5. So it takes 10 nanoseconds plus 200 nanoseconds. Plus the amount of the probability it misses is 25 only. Okay. So is it 25? Yeah, 25. So it takes 10 for TLB, 1 for memory reference, another is for actual page. So total amount of time, effective access time is 0.75 into 210 nanoseconds plus 0.25 into 410 nanoseconds. Okay, this means into 7.5 2.5 into 41. So we'll do 21. 7.5 into 21, 10, 15, 5, 7, 5. This 157.5 plus 41 into 2.5, 20, 10, 5, 2, 0, 1, 102.5. So we 57 plus 2.5.5. So 10, 6. It gives us 250 nanoseconds. Okay. So effective access time is 260 nanoseconds. Okay. Now we'll solve another problem. Okay, this is very good question actually. What is the effective access memory reference time if the hit ratio for the associative register? I'll write it. What is the effective memory reference time if the hit ratio for the associative register is 70%. The hit ratio of memory is the hit ratio of memory is 20% and 10% of the time we must go out of the disk. We must go out of the disk to load the faulted page. Load faulted page in memory, where context switching disk transfer time etc. takes milliseconds. Okay. Now let us find out. The scene is very small. Okay. So now how do you solve this? This is actually very good question. This question. Here, how do you calculate the effective memory reference time or effective access time if the hit ratio of the associative resistor is 70% of the hit ratio of memory? What is the effective memory reference time if the hit ratio for the associative resistor is 7% and the hit ratio of the memory is 20%, and 10% of the time we must go out of the disk to load the faulted page in memory, where context switching, disk transfer time, etc. that takes 100 milliseconds. Here it has not given how much amount of time it takes for accessing TLB. Okay, now we'll take from the previous example. We assume TLB access is 10 nanoseconds and access is 200 seconds. Okay. So we assume this. Okay. Now let's find out. Okay. How do you do that? Now what do you mean by partition? Now so far we were assuming that whenever a reference is made, the page is imagined where the page is not there. Now the hierarchy is like this. Now CPU goes to registers first. If it is not in cache, memory. Okay. So now it reaches cache in 10 nanoseconds. It reaches memory in 100 seconds. Okay. It means it reaches memory this 200 plus, yeah, actually the case of miss, how much? 10 plus 200 nanoseconds. 200 nanoseconds actually. In case of hit, it is 200 nanoseconds. And it takes for context switching 10 milliseconds. The order, accessing from memory is order of nanoseconds, it's order of milliseconds. Okay. So we'll take that here for the time hit ratio. So given is 70% for TLB and 20% for memory and 10 for disk has been given. Okay. Now depending on this, you have to find out. Let's find how it is. Okay. Suppose if it is hit, okay, 70% of the time it's hit. So the amount of time it takes is 10 nanoseconds plus memory reference is 200 nanoseconds. Okay. If it is miss, then what happens? Miss generally happens 20% of the time. Then it means already it has did 10 nanoseconds spended. Then one memory reference plus another memory reference for actual accessing. This is all in order of nanoseconds. Okay. But it is also possible that 10% of the time it spends on this. So when does it spends in case of page fault? If the page is not available, it goes to the disk, and this disk takes 10 milliseconds. So to reach, okay, how much time it would have spent it already? Okay, 10 nanoseconds already would have checked in TLB. It doesn't found. Okay, then it goes to memory. Okay, 200 nanoseconds page table. Again, it doesn't found. Okay, then it has found. Now it has to access disk. For accessing disk, it has taken 100 milliseconds. Okay. Now for accessing 100 milliseconds, okay, now it has been loaded there. Then it means the page has been loaded into the memory. If it's been loaded into the memory, then again what happens for memory access? This is equivalent to 10 nanoseconds plus 200 nanoseconds. Okay. Now, if we simplify, then we'll get the answer. I'll link this simplification on the audience. So we'll stop here and continue next time.